Lena Carter adjusted her grip on the shopping cart, pushing it through the brightly lit aisles of a Los Angeles grocery store. The store was buzzing with evening shoppers, some in a rush to get home, others leisurely browsing. For Lena, it was just another exhausting task to check off her list. She was running on fumes. After working a grueling 8-hour shift at the diner, she had rushed to pick up her 5-year-old son, Ethan, from daycare. And now here she was, making sure they had enough food for the week without exceeding her budget. Every item she placed in the cart was carefully considered. Milk, eggs, a small loaf of bread, some fresh vegetables, and a pack of Ethan's favorite crackers, simple essentials, but enough to get them by. As she approached the checkout counter, she exhaled slowly. She had meticulously organized her coupons earlier that morning, knowing every cent counted. As the cashier, a young woman with tired eyes, began scanning her items, Lena pulled out her neatly clipped stack of coupons and handed them over. A loud sigh came from behind her. Oh, great! This is going to take forever. Lena's hands tightened around the shopping cart handle. She didn't turn around, but she could feel the man's irritation pressing against her like a wave. "Why don't people like you just budget better instead of holding up the line?" the man muttered, loud enough for others to hear. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment. "People like you." The words stung. She swallowed hard, willing herself not to react, not to let this stranger ruin her night. The cashier's fingers faltered slightly on the scanner, her expression caught between sympathy and discomfort. Nearby shoppers cast quick glances before looking away, unwilling to get involved. Lena turned slightly, forcing a polite, strained smile. "I'm almost done, I promise." The man scoffed and rolled his eyes. Before she could say anything else, a firm yet calm voice cut through the tension. "Hey, that's enough." The irritation on the businessman's face froze. Lena turned, her breath catching in her throat as she recognized the man who had spoken. Keanu Reeves. For a moment, it felt like the entire grocery store had paused. Even the beeping of the register seemed distant. He stood there in his signature effortless style, dark jeans, a simple t-shirt, and a well-worn leather jacket. His long hair was slightly tousled, and his deep, kind eyes locked onto the businessman with quiet authority. The businessman opened his mouth as if to argue, but quickly shut it, recognizing the Hollywood star standing before him. Keanu stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "I don't see the problem with someone trying to save money." His gaze flicked to Lena, then back to the man. "Actually, I've got this." Before Lena could protest, Keanu handed his card to the cashier. "Put it all on me." The cashier hesitated for only a second before nodding and swiping his card. Lena stood frozen, her mind racing. This wasn't happening, not to her. "You don't have to do that," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I want to," Keanu replied with a warm smile. "It's tough out there, and you're doing what you can. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for that." The businessman, now thoroughly embarrassed, shuffled away without another word. The weight of the moment settled on Lena, and she felt tears burn at the back of her eyes, not just because of the generosity, but because of the sheer kindness in his words. He saw her. He truly saw her. As the cashier finished ringing up the groceries, Ethan, who had been quiet up until now, looked up at Keanu with wide, admiring eyes. "You're like a real-life superhero," he said, his voice filled with innocent awe. Keanu chuckled, crouching slightly to meet the boy's gaze. "Nah, just a guy who respects hard work." He reached out and gently ruffled Ethan's hair before standing again. Lena took the grocery bags, her hands still slightly shaky. "Thank you," she said, her voice full of sincerity. "Really, I don't know how to—" "You don't have to," Keanu interrupted softly. "Just keep going. You're doing great." As she stepped out into the cool night air, Ethan skipping happily beside her, Lena felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Not just because of the financial help, but because for the first time in a long while she had been reminded that kindness still existed in the world. And sometimes it came from the most unexpected places.